When we talk about the most deprived children, often our imagination takes us away into far remote villages, and we think the children who are really cut off are the ones who are living very far away in very poor villages. But the reality is different. What we don't realize is that the children that we pass by on our drive to the office every single day in the morning, children who are just being carried by their mothers as they go about begging for their day's maintenance, they are the most vulnerable children.
Do we know that 20 lakh children in our country live on the streets? They are denied of the most basic rights to health, education and protection. Nearly 80% of them do not have an identity, a legal identity proof, even a name to call their own.
The problem of street children is everywhere, but somehow they don't seem to register with the authorities and with the general public at large. What do we do with the children who are roaming around the streets? Because once they're on the streets, they face multiple problems, and I don't think the street gives them the right kind of experience to grow into productive citizens. And therefore, I decided to work with Save the Children, use their expertise in developing an SOP for rescue of these children.
What we've attempted to do with the SOP is not write new government policy or write a new framework. It is drawing on existing policies, existing frameworks which are already there. We've just pulled it into one document which sets out very clearly what is the processes that you must go through when you come across a child in a street situation.
We collaborated with NCPCR and the WCD department for taking this initiative on developing a standard operating procedure for children in street situations. And this has been an excellent collaborative effort and a perfect model of convergence between the governments, the NGOs and the community. The SOP has been an enabler in this sense, where all the departments came together and they came out with an action plan for its implementation.
So this standard operating procedure is actually a way, a means to see that those who are there, the children who are there in street situation, get support, which is the care and protection that they deserve. That's their right. And this entire mechanism of bringing all stakeholders together so that that life who's in problem, who needs support, can be reached out and can be supported.
We have already rolled out the SOP for children in street situations in West Bengal, and then followed that we have organized a training of all child welfare police officials in Kolkata Police. That's about 75 police officials, to orient them about the SOP.
This is going to help the police quite a lot to deal with children in street situation, because it clearly lays out certain guidelines in which this police can handle juveniles. So this SOP's whole effort is to bring in much more clarity and a symphony of efforts to work on addressing the children in street situations.
कई सारा संस्थाएं या ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस काम कर रहे हैं, इंक्लूडिंग गवर्नमेंट, कि कैसे इनका हम लोग रिहेबिलिट करें, एंड इफ़ दे आर ऑन द स्ट्रीट उनको कैसे प्रोटेक्शन हो, उसका जो भी एक्सप्लॉयटेशन एब्यूज़ होता है उससे कैसे हम उसको प्रोटेक्ट करें, तो इमीडिएट होता है कि उसको रेस्क्यू करके होम्स में. नाउ विच काइंड ऑफ सर्विसेज, चाहे वो अगर एडिक्टेड है तो डी एडिक्शन कैंप कैसे चलाया जाए, और बच्चों स्कूल से मिस किया है तो उस स्कूल से कैसे उसको जोड़ा जाए. तो ये काम को रफ्तार देने के लिए काफ़ी अच्छा एक ये SOP हमें मदद कर रहा है.
बात सिर्फ आधार दिलवाने की नहीं है, बात है कि आधार अगर हम दिलवा रहे हैं तो वो मेन स्ट्रीम के साथ जुड़ सकते हैं.
Right now, whatever SOPs that we have created, we are digitalizing it. In the sense, we are creating an animation film with all the right kinds of links. This is going to reach out to the child welfare committees across, the police and so on. Whoever is a practitioner in this field, reaching out to children and reaching out specifically to street children.
Therefore, now that we have developed an SOP, we are rolling it out in different states, telling the state governments what needs to be done under the ambit of law and policies.
With this rollout, each of the states had prepared their own action plan, And this action plan was very specific to the numbers and needs that we saw for children there.
Via which they are able to then access their rights. So that is our endeavor, and we're really hoping that in the next 3 to 4 years, we will have made significant progress in this area.
And this is a reality that we must change together. And this is not a responsibility just of the government. This is a collective responsibility to make these invisible children visible and take care of their future.